Alright, so I want to talk about Anilive. Now, guys, we have discussed Anilive in the past a little bit. We talked about kind of their quantity over quality approach, but here is Anilive. It's a new VTuber application, and I think you guys might remember we talked about Anilive because they had all of these crazy amounts of debuts that have happened. They had like this huge poster. I'm sure you guys remember this, where so many talents were just debuting all on the website all at the same time. It feels like the Hunger Games, right, Chad? Just everybody just out there all at once. Well, guys, Anilive has come under a lot of controversy here lately. So I want to kind of tell you about Anilive, tell you about what they are, and just kind of go through the website. So first up, let's go to the website itself. So here we go, guys. Here is Anilive. Of course, stream anytime, anywhere that you want. So they have a mobile streaming app. It's designed for the VTuber community. In particular, this app is designed for VTuber. Holy shit, this website is lagging my whole fucking computer. You have like GIFs, kind of like TikTok. You can do a little GIFs and things like that. And of course, dive into real-time streaming and engage in dynamic conversations. You can show your own streaming likes, follows, etc. And of course, here are a bunch of talents. And you can download that app on the Google Store and the Apple Store. So here, of course, are the founders. Their name is Captain and Ramen. Kind of looks like a new app that's a little bit unassuming, right? I do want to scroll through their page a second, just kind of give you an idea of what this company is about. So anyway, they're talking about Jumpstart Program number 2. Get a free unique character design to stream on Anilive. That's actually kind of fucking crazy. So we're back with a sequel. Get a free character design to stream on Anilive. So they're basically telling you, guys, we will literally give you a character to stream with on this platform. Now there are, of course, some stipulations of that, but if you miss Volume 1, but you still want to jump onto streaming on Anilive, they do have a Jumpstart Program number 2. And of course, just going and talking about, congrats to all of these people with their followers, so on and so forth, talking about some details for a Snack Hunters event, etc. So you're kind of getting the idea of what this company is, right, chat? So this is Anilive, chat. They are a VTubing app. Well, chat, there's kind of a reason for that. So let's go take a look at the post that has really kind of kicked off a lot of the negativity surrounding Anilive and some stuff going on here. So here we go. Anilive tweeting out, message from Anilive. Some rumors have been floating around that we want to address. To be 100% clear, all Jumpstart Volume 2 illustrations were created by human artists and not generated by AI. We're not off to a good start, chat. We're already having to address that we did not make stuff with AI. A little sus, a little sus. The article below clears up all the misunderstandings. So let's go take a look here at this article and see what it has to say, chat. And I think you're going to love this article. Here we go. Hey, Anilivers, we received inquiries about our Jumpstart Program 2 avatars and seen rumors that the character illustrations were created using AI. First up, we want to state clearly up front that the character illustrations were not generated by AI. Anilive's goal has always been to support creators, including the case of the avatars and designs we provide. We assert that all characters and illustrations for the Jumpstart program, both Volume 1 and 2, remember this, chat, both Volume 1 and 2, were created by human artists. We know some misunderstandings about our Jumpstart Volume 2 program, and characters are occurring primarily due to their appearance when using our experimental new streaming feature. We want to clear up those misunderstandings. Okay, let's see what you got. I mean, if they're going to clear it up, let's clear it up, baby. We previously gave a sneak peek about our in-app feature and plan to use for Jumpstart 2 in our journal entry here. To summarize, the feature allows streaming with a moving avatar from a single illustration. I don't know if you know this, chat, but that's actually how all VTuber models work. They move from a single illustration. It's just cut up and rigged. Anyway, to view it as a step up or an alternative to PNG tubing, basically allowing for movement and expressiveness when using only one illustration, then people can start VTubing even before they're able to commission or create a rig. And by the way, chat, I'm going to show you what they mean by this. We're one of the first global apps to begin using this kind of feature, but other apps in Japan, such as Irium and 17 Live, already had similar animation features available for several years. Some people claim that the Volume 2 avatars appear to move completely differently from standard VTuber models or are not imposed to be suitable for a Live 2D rigging model. And that is proof that we're using generative AI for the illustrations. However, the real reason we simply the Volume 2 avatars are not standard models, as we shared our initial announcement. Jumpstart Volume 2 streams are provided a single original character illustration and use this illustration in conjunction with our new streaming method. So chat, I will remind you, when you send over the stuff to the model artist, it's only like a PSD or like a very special model file that is cut up in a way that allows people to rig it. So seeing it's like this is something new is kind of weird because it's already a single illustration. But anyway, here is their examples right here, chat. Dynamic illustrations like these will be difficult to separate and rig for movement as a standard live 2D avatar, but are able to move in a limited manner in Anilive thanks to our feature. Why would you not just create a model that can do both? There's no reason not to. It actually requires like little to no extra steps just to cut the model properly. You can even have it pose this way permanently. It's literally no extra effort. So this feels weird to say. I just want to point that out. At the moment, we're still in the early development stage for this tool. So we'll still be working out what's possible for it. And there are some technical difficulties, all right? Currently, for example, we notice there's some image compression and artifact creation during the image of this feature. Now, chat, read the sentence again, and I want you to store it away in your brain. Currently, for example, we've noticed that there is some image compression and artifact creation during the usage of this feature. In addition, some issues with the animation may occur. Screenshots of these issues out of context are being shared on social media as evidence that the original character illustrations are made with AI, but in reality, the issues are just limitations within our in-app features and are not a result of the character illustration itself. Why would this be an issue of rigging? If there's an issue with the illustration itself that looks like AI art, that has nothing to do with your actual in-app feature / rigging process. That's the art itself. That stands on its own thing, right, Chad? That's its own separate entity. So I really X'd it out. I would love an example of this. This really feels more like, hey, bro, just trust me. Anilive began developing the feature with the intention of providing aspiring VTubers a starter tool to have more expressive character streaming, even when only having a single illustration. We hope that by having this option, new streamers will be able to start creating and earning after earning for some time to even commission their own rig in their future. Currently, we're limiting access to a few select few in order to implement strict copyright checks for illustrations being used. After developing it further, we plan to invite streamers outside of the Jumpstart program to test out new features themselves and simply bring their character illustrations alive. I have a question. Why aren't you worried about people calling your stuff AI? Why don't you just credit the artist? That would solve that immediately, right, chat? If you just credit the artist, it's not even a problem. The illustrations for Jumpstart Program 2 were pre-commissioned from 4 human artists and 2 production companies, typically for the purpose of using them for a new feature, okay? Who? Where's the credits? We do acknowledge that in order to accommodate a large initial number of new streamers, we prepared and ordered in bulk under a tight deadline and limited the number of revisions we allowed ourselves to request. This led to understandable oversights and fine details in the illustrations as well, which we plan to be more careful about in the future. Okay, so you had some oversight, but again, chat, if it's AI, it's AI. However, we are confident the illustrations we have provided to Jumpstart Program 2 streamers are all created by human artists, and the bulk of the misunderstandings come from seeing screenshots of our features in action without context and assuming that the output is a live 2D avatar. Again, the art is the art. I do want to point that out. Regardless how you rig it, art is art. If it's got AI features of it, it's got AI features of it. After this detailed explanation, the expected behavior of our features will put people's mind at ease. Actually, no, it did not. Really, I just have more questions. I don't feel like this put my mind at ease. Oh, I don't really feel like this addressed any of my big issues. To be honest, I don't feel like this addressed any of my big issues. So let's go look at the responses about this stuff, chat. Hannah saying, so disappointed way this entire situation is handled, and a big response which addresses none of the major concerns about the accusations of using AI-generated models. Artists are the backbone of the VTuber community, which is true. We're gonna go take a look at this particular tweet here in just a bit, chat. I don't want to be that person, but if they aren't AI, then the artists need to be properly credited, and it's the least that you guys can do. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The statement won't apply to anybody who's calling out for not crediting them. Absolutely. Just credit them. Here we have from Kenny. Appreciate this statement, however, be easy to diminish these claims if you shared the pre-rigged art and artist production companies used. Exactly, as I said. Because some of the artifacts and compression issues are typical of what would happen to purely artist-drawn pieces. Bro, that's AI. You're gonna have to convince me that's not AI. Consider applies, you have to know this isn't enough. The community you're trying to build off of is turning against you, and you're not even doing the bare minimum. I agree. Let's go look here at this post. I feel like this one is very, very good. That looks very AIS to me. They're very weird. They're very weird. You know what I mean? The chat, to me, this looks like AI. And again, they could provide proof that it's not, just by showing how some of this stuff works, right? Anyway, let's keep going here because this is the post that started out. Well, chat, we have questions of AI here, right, chat? Well, chat, unfortunately, a lot of people have come forward talking about their bad experiences with this particular company. Of course, we looked at this one, but this is in fact about the Jumpstart program for Anilive. I'm very concerned about the identities models are being made with generative AI, especially since the rigging is completely limited to facial expressions and the models in dynamic poses typically not used for standard models. You're going to see this in a video later. I show you guys. The mouth moves, but the body does not move at all. It's like a half rig. It's very weird. But you guys are going to see in a video I show you. So here's the video from Communism saying, I quit Anilive so I could share my story of favoritism, false promises, AI allegations, and more chat.
The most important video I've ever made. Not only does it discuss the
And by the way, chat, just a quick thing, I will be stopping from time to time to kind of add my commentary. So almost like a react video, but this is very, very important, guys. She took a lot of time to make this, so let's give it the respect and attention that it deserves.
Currently against Anilive, but it talks about my own mistreatment within the company as well as the mistreatment
That's really
of
sad.
others. Even if you don't care about drama, you don't know what Anilive is, I ask that you please watch this video, please share it, anything. What this company has been doing is awful and it really needs to be addressed. Now, there are some people out there who are faking being part of the Anilive program and spreading misinformation, as well as a bunch of other stuff that we will cover in this video. I have all the receipts from my experience, but make sure to take anyone else's
talk about any concerns or anything.
There's a lot of lies being spread around. I'm going to start off by covering what the allegations against the company currently are, and then we'll move on into my personal experience, and at the very end of the video, I will be reading off some statements that some of my other fellow talents have given me to read anonymously.
And chat, I know Communism is going to kind of add to, or really give us like the backbone, the backstory, but obviously I'm going to give you my telling of it because it's important, right, chat? You got to know everything. You can't make a decision without knowing everything.
This video for 3 days straight, and I have poured over 20 hours of work into it. It would mean a lot if you would watch till the end of the video, or if you're unable to do that, just leave it in a tab in the background. I really want my voice to be heard, as well as the other talents that have been hurt by this company. I'm doing my best to make this a straightforward process, but please bear with me if we jump from point to point at times. Due to
I say this all the time. I don't know if it's your first time here, Communism, but I like to present all the sides of something because I think it's wrong to try to make an informed decision when you don't have all the sides of it. I think it's really
I've agreed to sign. I'll only be sharing knowledge on my own personal experiences, as well as information they've already made available to the public.
And again, you've seen all the other stuff, chat, so you do have a little bit more context going into this video.
Vtuber app that is
it's a new music. How are you? Can't wait to hang out with you on Saturday.
And Android. It is owned by a parent company named Netherball, which we will be discussing more later in the video. Currently, the app is onboarding talent through an application process, meaning that only those that are approved directly by the company can stream on the platform, and it is not open to the public. Around 5 months ago, Anilive was already in some major heat for requiring all streamers on their platform to provide their model files to the company in order to stream.
Yeah,
a lot of people were really hesitant to give up all of their model files as they're very expensive and
it was quite
interesting,
and I don't blame them.
Sure. Even Iron Mouse, one of the biggest VTubers,
see, I remember Mousy talking about it.
You can find multiple videos on YouTube where she talks about Anilive several months ago.
I know, it's gonna be awesome.
At the end of October 2024, and there are now even more AI allegations. This is the storm we are currently dealing with.
Yeah, so chat, as I said a little bit earlier, but it started with the stuff like kind of questionable, like, hey, why are you constantly asking for these model files? That's something that's very, very not an industry standard anyway, and most people don't want to share that information, right? And now we have these AI allegations, so it's just bad thing after bad thing adding up.
This time, though, the accusations are directed towards Anilive's second wave of talents, known as Jumpstart Volume 2. I was actually a part of this program, which is why I'm deciding to speak up about this.
Oh, wait, it is.
I'm not allowed to reveal who I was within the program, nor do I plan to as per my contract. Though I have my current identity as Karma to fall back on, many of the other talents are significantly less fortunate and are kind of stuck within the program. Please don't send any negativity to the talents, nor should you spam questions in DMs, anything of that sort.
Don't do that to them.
Let them breathe, because I promise everyone is freaking out right now.
They're dealing with it in their own way.
First off, I'd like to provide
I do want to say really quickly, this Jumpstart program is really enticing. It's like they're giving you free money. It's kind of crazy.
Provide a little bit of context to the situation for
no wonder people sign up.
Now, Anilive is something called the Jumpstart program, which is intended to help people become VTubers on their platform. Not only does this program provide a free model for all chosen applicants, but it also agrees to pay each new talent a minimum of $300 a month
That's
for the
crazy.
first 3 months streaming on the platform. This offer can look super appealing to people wanting cheap entry to the VTubing industry, especially considering the company's
free model and free money
model after a
for 3 months. Let's go
streaming through their platform. In fact, this offer is so enticing that even I, as a seasoned indie VTuber, decided to apply. It's important to note that Anilive is currently on volume 2 or wave 2 of their Jumpstart program. Volume 1 began debut over this summer, and the talents are already rather established within the platform. When looking at these models, you'll notice they are in fact Live 2D. Live 2D models.
So I know I put this up on the shelf for you guys, so I'm gonna remind you here. These models, you're gonna see examples of them. They're not fully rigged, chat. Like, it's like sometimes only the face will be rigged, sometimes like only certain parts. It's very strange. I've never seen VTuber models put this way. It's almost like somebody started rigging it and just left it. But you're gonna see here in just a second.
Can cost anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 and sometimes
you'll
much,
see the examples
much
here in a
more. With
moment.
the amount of talents in Volume 1, as well as the $300 a month they're offering, it's safe to assume a lot of money was spent on the project. Now that Volume 2 is in progress and talents have begun to debut from it, it's glaringly obvious there are a lot of differences in quality.
It's so weird. It's like the mouth is moving, the body doesn't. And then look at the eyes. It's like they forgot to like shade in stuff. Like the quality of this is just horrible. And it looks like AI.
The current models debuted are much stiffer, and the rigging looks unnatural.
You know what I mean? Chat, like, look at that.
Some models may look a little worse than others.
It makes me uncomfortable. But here's the thing, chat. Here's the thing I want to point out to you. In my opinion, I think there's a reason they can't rig it. And you want to know what that reason is that they can't rig it? Because it's AI and it's not able to be cut up properly.
Now that I've established a little bit of context, I'd like you to keep these things in mind as I switch topics and talk about my own personal experience within the hiring process and the company. After seeing many ads for Anilive, especially
what a surprise!
I thought it might be fun to try. I already have an
layers.
established persona here as Karma, and the concept of an app just for VTubers piqued my interest. Despite this,
I'm gonna read something in chat here really quick. Nushia says, Elara, it's not even rigged. This is an AI program that can be used to fake rig an image. Interesting. Okay, good to know. I didn't even know that existed, so that could be it.
I realized the app only supported Live 2D, which I am obviously not. Rather than pass on the opportunity, I thought it might be fun to challenge myself by having a secret alter ego. Now, there are two ways to apply to the Anilive platform. There is the one where you have a model and where you don't have a model. Because I didn't have one, I applied through the new streamer application, which can still be found on Anilive's website. The form was super short, and when I woke up in the morning, I'd already received an email saying staff would like to hold an interview with me. I was super excited, as I hadn't expected to be reached out to so fast.
Holy shit.
In hindsight, I probably should have noticed that this was a red flag, but we're gonna get to that. I was told interviews were going to be on a rolling basis, so the sooner I interviewed with them, the more likely I was to be accepted into the program. Taking this to heart, I looked at the Google Calendar invites I had received, and I scheduled an interview for later that same night. I scheduled my interview through Google Calendar around 10:30 in the morning. My interview was set to be that night at 11 p.m., so I had about 12...
The free Jane Doe model was better than what you got from them.
Once my time was set, I was asked to add a particular staff member on Discord in order to prepare for the interview later that night. When I went to add them, Discord said the username did not exist. Obviously, errors happen and typos exist, so I sent an email letting staff know that I could not add the
professional company.
I really didn't want to miss my interview just due to a typo.
A professional
4 hours later, I had not received an email back. This was super concerning to me, so I sent another email asking for the username to be double-checked. Companies get busy, and I understand that sometimes your inbox is not the most organized. Emails get lost. After sending that email back to the address that originally contacted me, I decided to look at my Google Calendar invite for the interview. From there, I found the email to the direct staff member I was supposed to be adding on Discord. I typed up a third email for the day and sent it to that staff member, letting them know I wasn't able to get in contact with them. Hours later, I had still not received a response from either address.
And child, let me point out, for them not to reply, that's the most basic thing. For her to dig for like that extra information to send an email to somebody that she really never actually contacted before is kind of nuts.
In a panic state, I realized that you can add notes to Google Meeting. Around 6 p.m. that evening, that's exactly what I decided to do. I went to the interview time in Google Calendar, and I added a note saying that I wasn't able to add the staff member on Discord. At this point, I had tried to contact them 4 different times in 3 different ways.
In like 5 different ways.
I planned to stream that night from 8:30 to 10:30 p.m., and I was terrified that I wouldn't get a response in time before my interview. While I was streaming, I obsessively kept checking my emails just to see if anything had changed. It wasn't until 10:30 that night that I received an email saying, I sent a friend request.
Bro,
there was no name, no signature, simply the one sentence.
Bro,
nearly 12 hours after I sent my first email. Again, in hindsight, this lack of communication should have been a huge red flag. I was asked a few questions about myself and I went on about my day. Because it was a weekend, I couldn't receive my approval until the following Monday, which I did. I was super ecstatic and I wanted to get through the process as fast as possible.
Let me ask you a question really quick if you don't mind, Arminism. What did they ask you question wise? Yeah, did they say any, did they just, besides like yourself, like what questions did they ask you during the interview?
To make movements towards debut. And this is
I'd
where
be
things started
interested
to
to
go more
know.
downhill. From here, I'm not allowed to share specifics of certain information I received, as all new talents are prompted to digitally sign a terms of service contract before moving further.
All right,
I'd
you
like
got
to make a
a
note that this was
TOS.
the most loose contract I
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't even look like a contract. Basically, about my experience, content style, I have it through my onboarding was so fast due to my already established platform. Sure, and that's fine. That happens. That's okay. But yeah, look at this code of conduct. That's it. That's just abide by a code of conduct. That's nothing to do with the actual contract or pay or any of that stuff. That's
have
crazy.
ever seen. Even the fact that it was in a Google Forms felt a little unprofessional. I was informed that
Yeah,
I was going to be
that's
part of Jumpstart
that's off.
Volume 2, which I had not
That'd have
even
been a red
heard
flag
of
to
until
me.
this point. When I was
I'd have been
being
like,
told
nah,
about the
bro.
program, I was told I would be testing out a new feature for the application. Now that Anilive has made a public statement, I'm allowed to say it was this new rigging technology that they've mentioned. The way this technology was explained to me was that it would be somewhere between Live 2D and a PNG tuber. I didn't really
Yeah,
want
so the fact that they don't know your legal name, or the fact that you didn't even have to provide that, where's the tax forms? Where's all of the important legal stuff that goes along with sponsorships or corporations? This is wild. This is absolutely wild to
want to
me.
be a PNG tuber, but because of the reassurance I was given, I was led to believe the final product would look significantly better than anything I had seen before. I was given the reassurance of when my eyes move, they move. When my mouth opens and closes, it opens and closes. Seemed good enough. I left the conversation feeling a little bit uneasy,
Oh no.
but I decided,
Could be
I've already
potentially
accepted the
minors.
contract, might as well keep going. This new technology was pitched to me to say that it would help lower the entry barrier into VTubing, as it can often be a very expensive hobby. As someone who is already a VTuber, I know the costs add up, so it seems good enough to me. I'd love to be a part of
Here's the thing though, chat. VTubing, like, yeah, it is expensive to get into, but most of the time that comes with like a quality that's associated with it, right? But decent rigging, decent tracking. But what we just saw is not even like, to me, what I just saw with the face and the eyes and the no body, that's not even the bare minimum.
developing a technology that helps people get into the hobby. After I agreed to all the terms, I was also told that I would be given a pre-made model. I had already been under the assumption I would be given a pre-made model, so this was no surprise
This
to me.
is sketch,
I was
chat.
told to fill out a short Google Forms
This is
document in order to
sketch.
help them pick out one of the options that I
What
might
what do
like.
y'all think?
I'll be
Is this
honest, I
sketch to
didn't
y'all
really
too?
love any of
Because
the
this
three
is
options
sketch
I
as
was
fuck to
shown.
me.
Despite this, I felt a little bit pressured into just picking one anyways. Staff made
Okay.
it extremely clear to me that they wanted to make no alterations. They would only make changes if it was absolutely necessary, and even then it would only be small adjustments such as adding animal ears or changing small color palettes.
That right there to me, chat, screams AI. The fact that you can't make changes, the fact that you can't make detailed changes, to me, that screams AI.
I know there's a lot of other talents that were unhappy with their models, but felt pressured to
Well,
change.
right.
just
I mean,
like
I'll be
me.
mad
As it
too
stands,
because
I
you
know
didn't even make
two talents
changes.
in particular who did request changes. Though.
Absolute red
One
flag.
requested to add horns, and the other asked to change the color palette. Staff wasn't super quick to correct these things, so both talents actually ended up requesting permission to edit the model themselves. This further solidified the
Wow,
fact
that's
that staff wanted
crazy.
all models to be taken at face value with 0 adjustments. It felt mildly dismissive, but I pushed forwards anyways. Also, I'd like to note that all of these quote-unquote models shown to me were just static PNGs, with 0 animation. Once I picked out my model,
Oh, that's
aka
wild.
image, I was given a Google Drive link where I was instructed to watch 3 different videos. The total watch time added up to about 30 minutes and explained a little bit more about Anilive, what the platform is, and how it works. I'm not permitted to show them to you all, nor am I allowed to discuss any of the
Yeah,
contents in
absolutely.
detail. It was
Like a
within these
training
videos I
video.
got the first look at the type of technology that would be used for my model. I was instructed
It's a training video. Welcome to the Krusty Krab.
that all models are made
Like
by
what?
human artists, and that I cannot discuss the technology until it's released publicly. As I record this November
Very
2nd,
sus, very
Anilive has
sus.
officially made a statement regarding the technology, and though they do not
Which we looked
publicly
at,
say
chat.
the name, which I was told, they do let the public know that it exists. Basically, everything in the public statement that Anilive made was something that us creators were told as we were onboarded. None of this information was new to us, nor did it resolve the issues we were having. I feel like the video I was shown was a bit
As we looked into, chat, their addressment per se, they didn't address anything. If anything, it just left more questions.
deceptive, as the tracking was very smooth. It didn't seem to have any of the same glitches or deformation that can be seen in some of the already debuted models. At this point, I fully knew what I had signed up for, and I felt a little bit underwhelmed. I'd already chosen a model, started socials, signed a contract, and even worked on branding though, so I didn't really want to quit, and that was a lot of work down the drain. I decided I would give it a chance and accept things for what they were. I told
I want to point out something very important in VTubing chat. You know, your VTuber model is an extension of you, right? It's an extension of your personality and the things that you stand for. So if you don't like that model and if you're not in love with it, why would you even want to stream? You know what I mean, chat? Like, why would you even want to stream if you have no connection to a character? And even then, it's like, it's not even animated. It's not moving the way that you want it to.
I told myself that if I
It
didn't
just
like
all
it, I
sounds
would
so
stream
stale
until I
and
got my
dead.
money, and then I would leave. Things took a turn for worse when I actually saw my model in app. There were so many issues. Now let me remind you, my model was not a model at all, but simply a static PNG. Now I have nothing against PNG tubers, but whenever I uploaded my PNG and the app animated it for me, everything became deformed. The eyes were smeared, especially
Yeah, that
when
looks
half
so
closed.
weird.
Everything just looked wrong. Even when the eyes were open and in my default pose, they didn't match up with my normal art.
So let me ask, do you believe that they're using some kind of, because I didn't really know this was a thing. Do you think they're using some kind of like AI rigging that's like rigs it live? Or something? I mean, it might be proprietary, but nonetheless, it looks like the rigging is, it messes up the model. And that should never be a thing unless there's something wrong with the actual model itself. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's keep watching because it gets addressed.
On top of this, part of my model was completely cropped off, leaving just a flat, blunt line. This felt entirely unacceptable, so I took a bunch of screenshots and I sent them to staff. I'd like to take a moment to just put these two pictures side by side for you. I feel like it's very easy to see all of the differences. The line art disappears,
oh my God.
The colors become muddled and smushed.
Yeah, just
everything
absolutely
looks completely
just
wrong once animated. But the normal art
you lose
looks
detail
human.
on the black
Staff
lines.
assured me the technology is still in its early stages, and they would work to fix any of the issues that I was having. Obviously, this never happened to myself, nor anyone else. This is the whole reason you're watching this video.
You still have the model. Whoa. You still have the model? Like it's in like, they gave you this model that they apparently spent all this money on. Bro, you know this is made with AI because they don't care. Oh my gosh.
Artists in a studio are very likely overworked.
That's wild.
If they receive a big order like what Anilive gave them, it's very possible that there were several artists trying to complete the commissions simultaneously. This means one person might draw these 5 while another draws these 5. Obviously, different artists are going to have different art styles, so each model's going to look a little bit different. If people are trying to really push through these commissions, they're going to be rushed and they're going to make a lot of mistakes. Now, some of these have explanations for why they look like that, some of them don't. Okay, so this is Yuna here. Now, she is another talent that decided to graduate just like me. She's been a little bit more open about her identity than I will be, but you know, that's her decision. Now, her art has a lot of issues which people have been pointing out in order to say that the art is in fact AI. While some of these are a little bit unexplainable, I think some of them can...
No f***ing way. Dude, the fingers! Where's the fingers? Oh, this is AI 100%. This is the tipping point for me. This is to do with like a cut. Oh my God.
AI. While some of these are a little bit unexplainable, I think some of them can also be explained away as mistakes due to being rushed or just sloppy in general. Obviously, a random dot here and there could just be a simple mistake that didn't get erased.
You know, anytime you see these random dots, it's because it's AI generated and they cut the PNG in a certain way and leave it there by accident.
And maybe the fingers...
Look at the f***ing fingers!
...weren't actually misdrawn, they were just colored very poorly because the artist was in a rush. Same with the line weight and things like that. Obviously, some of these issues do look a little more unnatural, though. I do recognize this is a very
Why the f*** would you make a shoe look like this and then look like this? This makes no sense.
Pattern on the dress. Maybe the artist just got lazy and was trying to fill things in thinking no one would notice. Again, with a really low definition, I little time between each character design as possible. Yuna's design is very complex compared to a lot of the others. If they tried to draw her model in the exact same time span as someone with a much simpler design, obviously they're going to be cutting some corners. That doesn't fully explain
the other thing too is, why does it have to be posed? You can literally have a model, put it into just a regular like arms down or wherever, arms to the side, put it into this rigging and repose it. That's not even a problem. Like, it's definitely AI because you can't make the cuts.
everything in the art though, so I'll kind of leave that as you will. I really don't think all the illustrations in Jumpstart Volume 2 are AI. I will say that, because looking at my model as
Alright,
well
we'll
as
see
the other
about that.
models I was
I
offered,
mean,
I
I
see
think
no
some of them
errors
are,
with
some
them.
of
And
them
with a lot
aren't.
of the other models I
But I
looked
think
at,
most of
I'm not
them
seeing a
are.
lot of issues either.
Here's where we get into the juicy drama behind the scenes. So I know that we've laid the foundation of all this stuff that's happened. So here we go, guys. Here is the juicy drama.
For the rest of the video, I'd like to expand upon my own experiences within this whole nightmare, as well as some issues unrelated to AI that I have
there's more.
experienced within the company.
There's
Some of
absolutely
the
more,
other talents have
Tuxedo.
asked to be a part of this video as well,
That's
and I'll
sad.
be sharing their stories at the end. Please do not attempt to find out who they are within Anilive, as some of them may decide to continue within the company. This could potentially lead to their reputations being damaged, and I do not want that for them. When I became a part of the Anilive Jumpstart program, I instantly noticed that those of us in Volume 2 are being treated differently, and if I'm being honest, worse than Volume 1. While Volume 1 was given promotional posts on the official Anilive Twitter, I was told Volume 2 would not. Instead, I was allowed to directly at the Twitter account and important posts, and then they would repost it. This would be fine if they actually did it. However, it
that doesn't make
4
sense
days
from a marketing
just to repost
standpoint,
a single
chat.
tweet of mine.
Yeah,
At
you
that
definitely
point, the
want to
information
get that
was
information
old
out there
news
with your new
and
livers.
I felt so horrible about the situation, not just for myself, but the others. We all deserved better.
Feels
At
off.
some point, one of the talents sent a link to a Nexus debut schedule within our Discord and said they wished Anilive would do.
And remember, chat, this is what we kept looking at, this whole like promo thing. And this is why I call it the Hunger Games, chat, because it's like we're gonna throw as many livers as we can out there and just see who
the same
survives.
thing for us. Since it seemed none of us were being given attention, I took matters into my own hands. I'm decent at making graphics, so I decided I would make a schedule for us on my own. Even though it shouldn't be my job to do so, I wanted to give everyone a chance to feel special and important. I spent hours making a design template that looked somewhat official, and I made the schedule for Halloween week in a single night. Everyone was so excited, and it got tons of reposts and impressions on Twitter.
You made that because they retweeted that on the main account. Ain't no way. Carmenism made this graphic and the company retweeted it. Bro, there's no f***ing way. Oh my god, I cannot. I cannot. Oh my god. That is insane.
I was super happy my hard work was helping so many people. I sent a link to my post to staff, kindly asking them to retweet it since they hadn't done so in the past. You can see the message I sent them here. In the screenshot, you see where I mentioned the fact that myself and others feel like we're being swept under the rug compared to Volume 2. I didn't want to come off as aggressive because I was new to the program and assumed maybe they just didn't realize how upset it was making some of us feel. I assumed I'd get a thoughtful response and maybe they would even promise to do better in the future, but spoiler alert, they never responded. Later that evening, I saw that staff retweeted my post, and even though they never responded to my concerns in DMs, I brushed it aside and told myself that was good enough. Myself and some other talents worked hard to gather debut information.
Guys, this is a professional company. You have talents that are reaching out to you and you didn't respond. Unacceptable. Unacceptable behavior to do to somebody. You need to respond. If somebody reaches out to you, especially talent, you better fucking respond. You just wait till I run my own company, chat. You'll see the difference.
And I went to work on the schedule for next week. As I did this, I realized some of the talents had overlapping debut times. Staff had told me that they were going to space us out, but that didn't really seem to be the case. Some people had the data themselves, whereas on the day I was meant to debut, there were 6 of us.
They didn't even schedule them
right. 2 of those 6 even shared a debut time, which staff had assured us would not happen. Others and I had to play Twitter detective, as Anilive never even notified us when new talents were onboarded. We would simply see a new account and try to reach out to them on our own. Also, I'd like to note that apparently someone—
Oh, guess what? We're hiring all these people, but we're not gonna tell you. Have fun with that.
Confused me for staff because I posted this schedule on Twitter. Honestly, I thought this was super funny, and I had no idea people thought I was staff until I talked to them directly.
All over again.
They were so confused when they found out I was just a normal person. That really goes to show how little effort Anilive is putting into their talent. The fact that me, some random person that hadn't even debuted, was doing more than staff honestly says a lot about the company.
They don't care, Chad. They literally do not care.
Super concerning. As
about
most of us
anything.
already
They do
felt
not
like
care about
staff
you.
had no time to address any of our problems and concerns. Hiring new talent just meant we'd get even less attention. The day after I posted the schedule was when talents first noticed the AI rumors being spread on Twitter. Some people were more worried than others, which was to be expected. I wasn't too concerned as I already kind of understood what was going on. I thought the allegations were silly, but I did my best to calm the others. Many reached out to staff where they were given the same copy-pasted messages saying the art provided to us was human-made and nothing more. I went to bed that night assuming things would blow over, and when I woke up the next day, say, it seemed like all hell had broken loose. Nexus, a VTuber company that partners with Anilive, made a comment on the usage of AI, saying that they did not agree with it
kinda
and would
so
never
Yeti.
use it. While they decided to
But
make
they're
a
paying
statement,
people
Anilive
out.
remained
It's weird.
completely silent. This felt super
Here's my theory, chat. I think what they're trying to do is overinflate the platform, get people on it, get people using it. That way they're able to be like, oh, like it's working, so they can talk to their investors and be like, oh, well, it's working. Look at all the people on here.
responsible, as some
That's my
talents had already
guess.
been receiving harassment from strangers regarding the situation, both on stream and in DMs. As many of us talents reached out to staff, we were told to handle it ourselves. It seemed at that time that they had no plan of making any public statements. The night before, I had no plans on messaging staff regarding the issue, but seeing how worried my fellow talents were, I decided that I would. There's strength in numbers, and I thought that maybe if a lot of us messaged staff, they would be more likely to publicly respond. You can pause here to read my message if you'd like to. I did censor certain parts purely because I'm not sure if I'm allowed.
So just really quick chat, I know some of the other talents may have brought this to your attention. On one hand, my 2 cents, there's been a lot of discourse regarding the potential use of AI within the, season 2 models. So, and just talking about some particular points and stuff like that, just to give you a TLDR of it.
Say those things publicly. In the message, I include screenshots of several tweets regarding the AI accusations, as well as express concern for the effects of the bad press on myself and other talents. I mentioned that Nexus made a statement already, and that their silence on the topic is dangerous.
I think one thing we can all say is you're very professional about this, Carmenism, and we appreciate you. I think everybody here watching this would say the same.
The longer they wait to speak, the worse things will get. I conclude my message by saying that it's the company's responsibility to handle the situation, and that they're being irresponsible by ignoring it and telling the talents to deal with it themselves. I urge staff to make a public statement as soon as possible, and I just leave things at that. This shouldn't be a surprise to you guys, but staff never responded to this message, nor the one before, where I talked about the lack of promotion. I know staff was active, as others who sent messages later in the day received messages back. I felt like my concerns were being completely ignored, and I thought that maybe I was being too blunt or came off as rude. However, I stood by everything I said, and I refused to—
Chat, dare I say this? I can't believe I'm about to say this. The Anilive is worse than Ninja Sanji? I don't say that lightly, chat.
Get back. At this point in the day, us talents were made aware of the YouTube video I previously mentioned. I wanted to address it myself, however I knew staff
Ordo, thank you for 2 months!
I felt super frustrated and ignored because I'd never gotten responses for anything I'd said.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely
sure
more
others felt
incompetent.
the same way. I decided that I was willing
Definitely
to take a
more
hit for the team.
incompetent.
I'm lucky enough to be an established creator with a great community outside of Anilive. After talking with my peers, I decided I wanted to make a video regarding this whole situation to address things.
I do want to say, guys, that the good thing here, of course, for our Carmenism, is that she's already indie and kind of doing her own thing. This was just kind of a bonus. So, like, she didn't have to deal with a bunch of bullshit, but at least, your career isn't ruined, right?
Already making the schedules for my peers, even though that should have been the company job, so I might as—
Anilive is like, we have Ninja Sanji at home. Wish.com Ninja Sanji.
What the f? Seemed like they were gonna do that either.
That's horrible.
I decided I would ask staff for permission to make a video on the topic on my current account, and I added I would not mention having any part in Anilive. I would be totally unbiased and in defense of my fellow talent. If they gave me permission, I would make the video. If they said I couldn't, I was fully willing to graduate just to get the message out. Believe it or not, this is actually my 2nd video on this drama. While waiting for a response, I drafted the video with the intention of going public as soon as they said yes. I'm sure by now they wish they responded to me, as that video would have been much nicer than the one I'm making right now. After several hours of being ghosted, I was fuming. This was the 3rd time they had ghosted me while still responding to everyone else. I had even pinged staff directly in the 3rd message and still got no response. In frustration, I decided I was going to delete the entire message. I told myself they don't deserve for me to ask permission. I was being too nice by even giving them a choice on whether I spoke on the matter. I thought maybe I'd cool down about the situation and post it in a day or 2 if things weren't resolved. Now let's cut to November 1st, which I consider D-Day. Staff made an announcement within the official Discord regarding the AI accusations. Rather than—
Cat, this is such a big deal. They're already naming the days. The days are already named when everything went f***ing imploded.
Fully debunking things and agreeing to make a public statement, they simply gave us the same answer they've been giving us for days. Don't worry, your images are drawn by human artists. On top of that, they agreed to allow us to postpone our streaming and or debuts if we thought that was the best idea for us. This felt like such a slap in the face.
They moderated your comments. I believe that.
It felt like staff was just telling us, if you don't like it, then leave. Some talents instantly took the offer and canceled their debut. By the end of the day, I'd removed 5 people from the debut schedule for the next week, myself included. Staff asked us to place a message in
And remember, chat, he's not a member of staff. She's the one having to remove people off of a schedule that she made, by the way, chat. Just remember that. Keep that in your heart. Remember that.
Our private chat logs on whether we would like to continue with our debut or
Literally
cancel.
insane.
Now, I had still not received a single response from staff on any of the topics I'd brought up. I initially replied saying that I would just go ahead and continue with my debut, but I really wanted a public statement to be made. I also called them out on the fact that I was the only person who had still not been responded to in private about my concerns. I was definitely being ignored. As you can probably guess, they didn't respond to this message either. They didn't care. After saying I'd continue with my debut, I talked with some of the other talents and realized that maybe I was wrong to want to continue. I told myself I would give Anilive until the end of the weekend to make a public statement, and if they chose not to, I would—
Girl, I just want you to know how patient you are. I would have been up there so quickly. They'd have been like, holy shit, get these horns out of my fucking butthole. I would have been straight up there. I would have been all up in their DMs constantly. They'd be like, please let this lady graduate. Please let this lady graduate. She won't stop. I would have been absolutely destroying them. You are way too nice, and we respect that, but oh no. In a professional setting, there would have been absolutely no mercy.
Graduate. I began typing up a very long message to staff regarding all of my concerns and issues within the program. By the end of it, I realized I didn't even want to give Anilive the chance to make a statement, and
I don't blame you. I wouldn't look. I would have given that CEO a free colonoscopy. I'd have been up there so hard. I'd have been like, hey, where's this update? Hey, where's this stuff? Hey, I'm waiting for this thing. Where are you? Where are you? I've asked for this thing. What's the date? What's the time? When can I expect this back? Like, when it comes to professionalism, I don't play around. If people tell me they're going to do something, I expect for you to do it. And if I don't keep my end, then you better do the same to me.
Back on their side. Rather than send this message in private like initially intended, I decided I was going to place it in the public feedback channel of the official Anilive Discord. Because of the character limit, I was forced to split it into two posts. You can see though, by all the reactions to my message, a lot of the other talents agreed with my sentiments. In that moment, I felt like
I will say this from my prior job. I think there's like, you can still be professional but get stuff done, you know what I mean? It's kind of like putting people in a box. So for instance, you say, oh, okay, well, you're going to deliver me this thing. Okay, when can I expect a response? Oh, hey, I didn't get a response from you. You know, when can I expect a follow-up? I'm going to be looking for a follow-up by this time. Oh, you know, I just released this thing. Can you go ahead and retweet it? Did you follow up about it? You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be an asshole. You just kind of have to, like, set expectations. But you are literally a talent. You shouldn't even have to do any of that, which is insane.
The 99 thesis on the Catholic Church door. On top of this, I sent one last message in private to staff. It was here that I explained I was graduating effective immediately. I promised to support the individual talents, but not the company from this point forward. I ended everything by saying this entire dumpster fire was a byproduct of poor decision making on behalf of the company, and that I have no sympathy for whatever PR nightmare they land themselves in. This is where I also decided I'm going to make a new video, and that's what you're watching now. My fellow talents wished me the best, and were more than happy to keep me around in the unofficial server, even after my graduation. I have received some other statements from other talents, and I still have a lot of information that I didn't get to fully cover within the video.
Not everything is covered in this video, by the way, chat.
Long, and I've poured so much
it's still developing. There's still more and more that comes out.
I think rather than continuing to go back and re-edit my video as new information comes out, I just want to leave things as they are, and if in the future it becomes necessary to make a part 2, I will. However, I really don't want to have to make a part 2. I want this situation over and done with. Myself as well as the other talents are so tired. As we wrap up the video, I just want to say, please don't send hate towards any of us. None of us knew the absolute nightmare that
half the people have no idea, chat.
I've seen a lot of people saying things like, oh, well, you saw it was AI, you knew what you were getting into, and that's completely untrue. I mean, look at my personal experience. Nothing I was shown was AI. I legitimately thought nothing was AI until very recently. Maybe I was being a little naive, but regardless, it doesn't matter. I was lied to, and so was everyone else. None of us deserve the hate. Anilive does.
Absolutely.
I really hope this situation gets resolved and everyone can move past this in a timely manner. Thank you guys so much for listening to my story as well as the stories of everyone else. Before I go, I'd like to say one last thing. Anilive, burn in hell.
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part. So guys, here is, of course, the link to the video. Please go support Carmenism. But now that we have seen all of this, chat, what do you think about it? I'm going to pull up something really quick because this is very important, but I got to take my screen down for a moment. Sorry, y'all. I mean, I think you can look at this and see that this is a very bad company. This company does not care about people. They are using people, and anybody that wants to actually interact with them or get some kind of feedback or move the company in a positive direction, they just don't care. So coming from right here, guys, Moral Truthy tweeting out, it was brought to my attention that all upcoming Anilive debuts will be temporarily paused by staff, including the debuts on the graphic below. I understand what's been going on, so hopefully they'll be able to debut on a future date once Anilive handles this situation. So remember, chat, this isn't even a staff member that had to say this, right? This is just a regular, like, old talent. Like, here's what's really funny, chat. Take a look at this. The schedule is not made by Anilive nor its staff. I'm simply making it support people I consider friends. Since the company will do it themselves, says a lot about the company. I like your little evil little note in the corner. So they retweet it. That's so funny. So, chat, I think that we can look at Anilive and say this company is treating people very inappropriately, very unprofessionally. And on top of that, chat, I think we can all confirm they're using generative AI based on the experiences, based off the art, based off all the information that we looked at. I think it's a clear-cut chase. There's not much left to say about that. It's very clear-cut. I have to say, I think they're cooked. I don't know if they can come back from this unless they start actually commissioning real models. Their current structure does not support them to be able to do that. Because not only are they paying people, but they're giving them a free model. Yeah, unless they toss all the AI in the dumpster, I don't think they're gonna have a way back.